quite live. We are live on Facebook. Right. So, the lino cutting for beginners demonstration. And I've kind of bitten off more than I can chew with the design I've chosen, but that's typical. I'll just talk you through the different things of lino you can buy. This is soft cut lino, and it's a lot more flexible. It's very rubbery, so it's easier to cut. But the downside is it isn't actually that any cheaper than traditional lino, but it doesn't give you very crisp edges because it's so soft. Yes. But you can still do some really interesting things with that. Or you've got your traditional Hessian back lino. So this is £1.30 for, what's that one to? About 3x6 or something like that, 4x6. And although it's not as easy to cut, you get good defined edges. So if you're doing it with children, you might want to go with soft cut or try the traditional. I mean, years ago there was only this one available. There is an alternative option, which is this, and it's just a thin sheet of polystyrene. So with that, this is perfect for kids. I think it's like 60p for an A4 sheet. But with this one, you can just use a biro or a pencil to indent in. So you're not cutting, you're pushing in. So you can make patterns or shapes, or you can use tools. So you can make holes or use other implements or screws or nuts and bolts and just indent in to make the design. In terms of equipment, you can buy a lino cutter. You can buy them with 5 blades or 5 attachments or 10 attachments, and they're all very different in sort of shape. Some will cut in, some will make marks, some will give a more shallow edge, others a more definite edge, depends on the sort of pattern. It's about £7 for just a basic handle and tool kit. You'll need a roller, depending on the size. These are about £5–6. Nice heavy inking roller with the finger indents so you can really press down hard. Or for £30, which is a fabulous price, you can get these a lino printing kit, and you get 23 items in that. So you get your inking tray, your ink, your set of 5 blades, several pieces of lino. You get a lot for 30 quid, and you get all these tools down here. So you get 6 blades, all of that sort of stuff there, which is perfect. So it's a good way to start. So where do you go from here? It's a very good question. You can draw on your lino straight away with pencil or pen or biro or anything. However, if you really want to create an interesting design, you can work on paper first and then use image trace, which is available in black, red, yellow, white or blue. So I've used the red one here, and basically it's like red carbon paper. So you get a pale side and a dark side. You put the dark side down, and then you've got your image. I've used a colouring in book actually with a really nice dragon design, and then you just press over the top, trace over the lines that you want, and it transfers onto the part that you want. Now if I've got a scrap bit of paper, that's how well organised I am this morning. Let's use that. So let's pop that down. So dark side down, dragon there. You can use a pencil, you can use a biro. A biro that doesn't work is just as good, or you can use an embossing tool. And if I just do a little bit there, so got the eye. You do need to press down hard. The harder you press, the darker the line. and it works beautifully on lino. Although this is for beginners, I really wouldn't recommend you trying something so adventurous. They say there's a fine line between bravery and stupidity, and I think I may have crossed it today. So just so you can see, transfers wonderfully. They're about £1.30 a sheet, or you can buy a pack, a multicoloured pack, for all sorts of things. So, I've already started, because otherwise the whole demo would be spent doing this. I am stupid, aren't I? Well, you can see it's quite messy, but it looks like I've been hard at work, so I deserve cups of tea for all of that. So there's your one tool blade, you pop it in, tighten it up. The thing to remember with this, like all printing, is whatever is raised will be the colour of the ink, and whatever is indented will be the colour of the paper. So if you want a black outline, you've got to cut around both sides of the line to get the outline, which is tricky. Live on Facebook with a sharp implement. This is what can go wrong. So I'm just popping in the scales, but with each of the scales I need to leave a little bit of a gap between each one. Now, depending on the depth, this demonstration is not only live with you on Facebook, it's also live in the shop classroom with an audience. So I'm leaving a raised edge around each one. What's good about the traditional lino, which I'm using on here, is that you can dig very hard into it. You're not going to cut through right through the lino. Leave a bit of an edge. It's easy to get carried away with something like this, and before you know it, you've just cut massive holes in, and you've just got a lot of bits of lino. Or if you press too hard and you lose your concentration, you can end up chopping off some of the lines that you really wanted to keep, which has happened. So I've been very brave today. I have not tried this one out, so I don't know if it will do what I want it to do. But since it's a demo, I kind of like it if things don't go perfectly well, because it makes me look, although I'm a creative genius, it makes me look human. I added the flames actually because the original dragon didn't have anything. So the aim is that this will stay black, and then the actual scales of the dragon will be the colour that of the paper that I've chosen. So these are quite sharp, and it is messy. So make sure you've got a hoover to hand if you're trying it at home. Oh, I ought to do one day where you can all paint with me. That would be quite fun. I'll have to work on something from September. But a good one to try if you're starting out would be something like a leaf or a simple design. One I did at Christmas time was I did a simple little lino cut design to send a Christmas card to all of our suppliers and wholesalers. And it's this little gingerbread man card, so I picked some beige or biscuit coloured card, black ink, and then I used a relief outliner to pipe the icing around. Oh, Sue's just commented, yeah, it's vacuum cleaner is the generic one, isn't it, I think, and then Hoover is the brand, and all others are available, yes. So that's quite an interesting one with just a crosshatch design afterwards. You can see I didn't quite gouge out or cut through the lino fully, so there were some raised areas there, but it shows handmade, I guess. I hope you are well, Mrs. Clark. It is truly live, yes. I've got the camera, well, the phone on a tripod in the classroom. So I'm having to look up every now and again to see comments. And I will remember if I do cut my finger on these lino cutters that it is live. So I will, in Big Brother style, you're live on the classroom camera, do not swear. Oh dear, I hope your wrist's alright then, Mrs. Clark. And it is a glorious day down here as well, down south. The sun is shining. You can probably hear the church bells pealing in the background. There must be a wedding on this morning. I didn't know how many to leave today for ready for the demo. I might stop in a second because I don't want to run out of time for the actual inking. So you can see there's a raised edge between each scale. You can see it's got quite a sharp point on, a very angled blade. Will it zoom? I don't know. No, not really. I could have just done a flower, you know, that would have been so much better, wouldn't it? So much easier, but typically, no. Some nice stalls on at the market if you're in town today. I just had a quick walk down before I got ready for the demo this morning. Although I know for some of you watching 70 miles for a pound of a bowl of fruit is a little bit far to travel, although it is a bargain. Hey, I could get a job at QVC now, I suppose. Telly shopping. So we'll definitely be doing a live demo every month. They're usually on at the classroom the first Saturday of every month, which are on our leaflets that we give out. But from time to time I may also do another demo here and there when we get any new or exciting stock in that I think would be really interesting for you to see. Oh, I'd love a cup of tea, Mrs. Clark, thank you very much. Just one sugar. Quite fun, this live stuff, isn't it? I enjoy it.
We've got an audience of two.
Yeah. Thank you. I can't tell. Oh, I've got 3. There's 3 people watching, and we've got another one in the classroom. I can't tell who else is watching. If you want to comment, feel free. And I'll hopefully read it before I get too distracted, but I'll read them in between doing this so I don't lose a finger. Because I'm using black ink today and I really don't want to use red. Do a few more here and there. You can see, even though this is classed as the traditional lino is not soft cut, it is quite easy, but I am having to put a fair bit of pressure on. But most people that have done this at school, probably up until recently, would have used the traditional lino, which is what this one is. Right, so what I want to do is I'm just going to use a stiff bristled brush, a fan brush. It doesn't have to be a fan brush, but I do have an obsession with fan brushes. Got about 30, so I might as well put it to use in other avenues as well. Just an old stiff bristled hog hair fan brush that I can just get rid of all of the extra little bits that are sort of lodged in the grooves. Gosh, I'm really nervous because I don't know what's going to happen. It's quite exciting, this live TV, isn't it? Don't work with children, animals or lino cuts, I think I will add. Right, let's get all that out of the way. So you can see that the grooves there. Hopefully it will work. So what I've had to do is, that's the actual shape I want, but then to create a black outline around it I've had to do a cut around so it will work. Tony, do you want to have a look at that while I ink my tile? For watching, welcome to the other new watcher. So this is water-based printing ink. You can see I think it's a bit more than this. I've had this a couple of years. It's about $7.50 for 300ml. So it's nice and thick but water-based. I think this particular brand comes in about 7 or 8 colours, all your basic primary colours plus secondary. this over. So, no, not that one. That's the one I borrowed off the shop. This is my old inking roller. And make sure all areas of your roller are covered. Ooh, I just love the sound, that sticky sound of ink. You used to do printing, didn't you, Tony?
Yeah.
Did you ever used to do this sort of stuff? Yes.
Yep. With the old-fashioned and vessels, you know, when you could handle across.
Yeah. Old-fashioned printing ink had a special smell though, didn't it? Whereas this, I won't sniff it live. I have sniffed it live on Facebook. It doesn't have a smell, it just smells like paint.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for that fact, Sue. Sue's just said the World Wide Web is exactly 21 years old today. So that's... I started teaching around about 21 years, and it was... It's funny, I was just saying to Tony in the class for the demo before we started that how things have changed between me just using a bit of paper and whatever, and I've now got a camera here that's just off camera, which is projecting to a projector on a big screen, so people watching the demo here can see it in close-up detail. And I've got a camera here now that's showing it live on Facebook. It's amazing. Well, we've got a lot to thank the World Wide Web for, I think. Right, let's hope that this works. If it doesn't, I apologise. And if it doesn't, you'll also see why I take up landscape painting and not lino cutting for a living. And if it does work, you can forget everything that I've just said and just be in awe of my amazing capabilities creatively. So let's make sure we've got a lot of lino on there, and let's place that on. Use my spare roller. So don't forget it comes backwards, so if you're going to be writing on it, you'll have to write backwards. But don't try that for your first one. Or this. Just draw a leaf or just a pattern. But the colouring books, the adult colouring books, are really good because they've got a really varied pattern range, and you can enlarge it on a photocopier and then just trace it. Let's turn this over. Goodness me. Let's just make sure we've got the edges. So this is just basic A4 300-gram art card. Oh, that's not come out too badly. I'm quite chuffed with that actually. Ooh, yes. Right, let me do it on red now. I'm on a roll. You can see I've picked up a little bit of a lumpy bit of lino there. Let's get rid of that. Let's re-ink. So because this is water-based, we get asked in the shop all the time if you can use acrylic ink to do this. Simply, the answer is no. The reason why is because acrylic ink is acrylic paint rather is a fast-drying paint, and that means that I could roll it on, and then before I get the paper on weather like this, it would dry. So printing ink is a slower drying ink, but it can be water-based. You can also buy, if you wanted it more traditionally, you can buy a special medium that mixes with oil paint and turns that into an oil-based printing ink. Oh no, hang on, I think I'm going to do it this way again. It worked, so I'm not going to ruin. There we go. You've got to have red or green if it's a dragon, haven't you? I suppose you could do it on silver or pearlescent card to give it a sheen. I've kind of missed it a little bit. I've misjudged where I've been. But that's okay. I'm amongst friends. It's not like I'm live on Facebook or anything. Alright, let me flip this over. Catch the edges again. Perfect for if you're doing greeting cards or mass-produced cards or Christmas cards or anything. It's really quite nice because you can choose your image, work out what you're going to print to decide what colour your background card should be. So if you're doing like a snowy scene, you could have just white card or pearlized card and use blue ink. And that would give you a softer look. If you're doing autumn things, you could use a brown ink and different oranges or brown card. There really is a wide range of options out there. Well, that's worked out a little bit better as well, hasn't it? You don't get too messy, which is alright. So that one has turned out, I'm quite pleased with that. So don't forget it's backwards. And the ink does take a long time to dry, so don't just get carried away and ink it up, then do another one and plop it on top, and then do another one and plop it up, because the ink will stay wet for a good few hours at least. So get the hairdryer on it, and obviously with more time I'd have got rid of all of this so that the dust from the lino won't pick up and settle onto the ink. I needed to put, can you see that I've just got a few gaps there which are showing through the red, but again that's 300g card. I find the card works a bit better than the paper. So we've got a green dragon and a red dragon, which is quite easy to do. Thank you, Sue. I think it's quite fab as well. I was quite nervous this morning in knowing what I could achieve live. Can you see how the texture is on there? I don't know if you can see as it catches the light, the texture of the ink. It looks quite scaly, which is nice. So there's a lot of planning. The planning is crucial to something like this, to know what you need to add and what you need to take out. But you could embellish this. I could use the relief outliners in gold or silver to I don't know, put a gold eye in, or add a bit of gold like I did for the little old gingerbread man. So it makes it relief. It adds an extra dimension to it, and I may do that, but the ink's too wet so I can't. But when it's dry I'll embellish them with outliner. Excuse me 1 second while I nip and get an outliner. I think I've got one to hand. Talk amongst yourselves. These are them. They are, you can use the same ones for glass painting, relief outliners, and you just pipe them like an icing bag to get fine lines. You can mainly get them in gold, silver, black or grey, but you can buy, we can order in coloured ones as well, in sort of like oranges and reds and what have you. But for something like this I'd probably use gold to enhance the flame, give them a golden eye, or just a few lines here and there. So thank you for watching. I hope you've learnt something, even if it's not to be so adventurous on your first lino cut. And I'll see you at the next live demo. Thank you.